Well, hey friends and neighbors, this is Chuck out at Sheridan Park Farms. Welcome back to the farm. It is a glorious, absolutely beautiful spring morning, and yes, we can officially say spring now. It's a beautiful spring morning here in the western part of North Carolina. And to my buddies in the far deep southwest, yes, I am still in western North Carolina. But anyway, today, big day. We've got this first batch of broilers that we got about 5 or 6 weeks ago that's in this brooder. They've been here too long. We know they've been here too long, but we planned for that. We knew what we were doing. Contrary to, they should, you know, I get so many comments, and we appreciate the comments, but there's a lot of skinny jean comments that come in that I just don't share with y'all because the volume is too high. I didn't know what I was doing here. We planned for this. We knew what was going on. But today, it's time for these chickens to move out of this brooder onto pasture where they belong. Hang out for a little bit, and let's get our first spring broilers out on the grass where they should be. This works out here. Oh yeah, that's fine. Both sides. Hello, chickens.
Count them as you go.
Well, let's see how many we can get in there. There's 4.
7.
We'll probably get 15 in there, no bigger now. Eight, 9.
12.
12.
Yep.
I got one. 15? That's 15 there. Yeah.
He wants to put them in the tractors for 24 hours. So we'll just get one of those 5-gallon drinkers per each tractor.
Well, or what we can do is we can take the bowl. You can put the bowl in one of them.
Yeah. And get a 5-gallon drinker in
the other. And get a 5-gallon drinker and put in the other one.
Okay.
That makes sense?
One of those out of the brooder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
One of those little silos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You got it?
Hand them some good looking chickens.
Tell them to just get 2 of them. Get 2 of those big 5-gallon drinkers. Or a 5 and a 3.
Just get both of those big 5-gallon drinkers.
That'll just be easier than monkeying with the bowl.
Gosh, I'm some good looking chickens, boy. Good looking chickens.
Good Lord. Hang on. Well, this is not exactly what we had planned to do today. Actually, I was going to wait a few more days, but they went ahead and pushed through the fence because I didn't give them a roll of hay yesterday. I don't know if y'all can see back there on the back. They've really eat all that down because we're starting to green up. I mean, you can see she's really greening up down here in this lower field. And conventional wisdom, my understanding is that you want your fescue, which is the majority of what this is, to get to about 4 inches high or about ankle high. And we're about there. The concern that I've got out here on this is that we got to be very diligent in the management, because if you let them eat it down too far, it will stunt the growth of the poor Jacob's struggling with that drinker. it'll stunt the growth of your fescue. So we got to be careful about that. But I'm gonna put another line up. We're gonna leave this temporary fence up that they're on now. We'll put us another line up, give them a big swath here, and let them have it. And then we'll just start, I guess we'll start moving. You know, it's spring, days March 20 something or another. We've still got about another 3 weeks potential frost, but we're getting these warm, long days, sun's coming up. I mean, it's really feeling like springtime. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's old Bradford pear right there. But I mean, it's kind of time, I guess. Get these cows moving on some grass. Here comes the fence buggy. That is a heavy box of chicken.
It's a heavy box, boy. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be but about 3 dressed, but that's a 5-pound chicken already.
Yeah. Well, what do we think? 3 weeks?
Yeah, about 3 weeks.
3 weeks and they're ready. They're not sure what to do, are they?
It takes them a few minutes, but they'll figure it out.
Yeah. See, this one needs to,
Huh?
said I need to pull this one forward because that back corner back there is off the ground. There we go.
Take the wheels off.
I don't think you need to take the wheels off. That back corner was just way up off the ground. All right. There's a few left. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so 54 is the total.
That should be right.
Is that right? All right, good deal. Nice. All right, so what we've done, this is the first batch of broilers that we got. These are how old? 5, 6? These are about 6 weeks old. And smaller batch, put them in the brooder. We left them in the brooder a longer period of time because of the season that it is in the year. We're getting on towards, like I said a minute ago when those cows were moving, we're getting on towards, we got about 3 weeks to go before our projected last frost. So we left them in there a little bit longer so they could get more feathers, get a little bigger, and now they're out here on pasture and they will finish out here. I made a last minute audible on these guys. Jacob had got our tractors ready, tarps on them, and had put some netting up because we're going to day range these guys. We're just going to let them out during the day and let them, you know, kind of wander around and scratch and just do things that chickens do. But I decided last minute to put them in these tractors for at least 24 hours. Does a couple things. Number one, they learn where home base is, they learn where their food and their water is, and then at night, hopefully they will have a tendency to go back in those tractors, which are going to be a little bit more safe than just wandering around out here in this netting. Now we'll put an energizer on this netting so that, you know, if you get some little creatures that want to come walking up and that kind of thing and they touch it, you know, it'll spook them off and that sort of thing. But for what we're doing right now, I think this will be fine. You think 3 weeks, they're ready? 3 weeks and they're ready. So we're looking at, you know, middle of April, middle to end of April, of having some fresh pasture raised poultry from here on the farm. And that's our goal. You know, we get these birds middle of February with the goal being that we've got some fresh bird ready to go for our markets, which start end of April, 1st of May. So that's kind of the scoop from here. We did go back and put a 5-gallon drinker in each one of these. Otherwise, they'll have a bowl out that'll have a float valve in it that just refills, so we don't have to worry about refilling water every day. And then depending on how they do, you know, there's not very many. We got three sections of netting up here. So I mean, they probably can stay here for about the duration, but we'll just kind of watch the ground and see what it does. So pasture poultry, glad to get these guys out of the brood. Now we're gonna get that thing cleaned up and get ready for another batch. All right, I'm back out here now that I've got a tripod and a microphone. A while ago, whenever the cows got out, we'll talk about that. When the cows got out, all I have was my phone. So I just pulled it out and started videoing. So what we've done, talking about a little bit of spring management, early spring management on your cows. They have been on this side of this fence for a couple of months now. And we've been either unrolling hay or bale grazing. And as the grass has started to green up, you can see what it looks like back here. They've kept it down to the dirt. And so they were due a roll of hay yesterday, and I did not give them a roll of hay yesterday. I was gonna give them another roll today, but they decided they were tired waiting, and they came through the fence, came across the fence. I think we had it unhooked, so it didn't have a spark on it. Neither here nor there, but they came across. And so I'm gonna turn the camera around and show you, and then I'll do maybe a split screen here and show you the difference between where they have been and where they are now. So right back up in here, kind of brown. I mean, you know, just kind of dead looking. But then look at this over here. Now we're green over here. We're very green over here. And so they made their way over. We've set up another temporary line about, from where I'm standing, about 30 or 40 yards. And they've got a good swath here. We moved their water up. Everybody's been over here grazing. Right now, looks like 4 or 5 of them are 2, 4, yeah, about five of them are laying down. They've came over here and they've grazed. What we got to be real careful about this time of year, as that grass is getting started, is not to overgraze. You leave them in one spot for too long, you let them eat it down, it will stunt the growth of your grass. So we're going to have to be very diligent in our management on these animals and move them. So tomorrow, we'll move them up the field, one section. I might get another section out of it, so I might get 2 days here, and then we're going to go across the road. Now, I've got a field up here that does have a little bit of stockpile in it. It's brown, it's fallen over, but if you go up there and you kind of push it back, you can see the green that's coming up underneath it. So that'll be fine to put them on that too. Once they get done with that, you know, we're looking at 1, 2, then maybe 3, 4, 5 days. So we're about 5, 7 days down the road. 7 days this time of year does make a big difference. We're getting a lot more daylight at the end of the day. Temperatures are coming up and staying up. The soil is warming up and staying warmer. We do have a chance of frost, like I say, for a couple more weeks, but you know, it's not gonna, it will be fine. But the trick right now is you want to give these animals big areas and move them fast. You don't want to put them down too tight. You don't want to leave them for too long, or they will eat your grass down to the dirt, and then you'll have a terrible time getting up and going. Now, you'll see a couple of bare spots out here, and this is from where we had the chicken coop. So the egg mobile was sitting there. That's exactly where the egg mobile sat. You know, we always get those hot spots right underneath it. That's what that is. As the weather's warming up, the ground's warming up, it's going to start to metabolize more and more and more of that nitrogen, and that'll be just as thick and green and lush here, you know, in a month or whatever, as what you could imagine. So I think we're pretty good here. I've moved their drinker. Let me spin it around here. I don't want to make y'all too dizzy. Let's see. Let me zoom in over there. So we've moved their drinker. Their drinker's up here kind of behind where the biggest chunk of them are. And we're gonna start worming. They've been in one area for a long time. They've been exposed to their own manure for quite a while, so we're gonna worm them. We use a product called Shakely's Basic H. Joel Salatin recommends that in his book Salad Bar Beef. I'll leave a link for Salad Bar Beef in the description down below. If you're grazing cattle and you've not read that book, you need to get that book and read it. A lot of valuable tips and information in there. I've got to go pull it out and look and see what the concentration on the mix is, but it basically is a dish detergent. It's not a chemical, it's just an all natural dewormer that he uses. Says it works great. We've used it in the past and it seemed to work fine. Nobody looks particularly wormy. I've got one or two that are a little bit thin, but I'm hoping that once we get them back out here on this grass and we start grazing pretty regular, that we'll start packing on some pounds pretty quick. So we shall see how that all ends up working out. But between getting those chickens on fresh grass, getting these cows on fresh grass, there is absolutely no other feeling in the world, no other feeling like there is to see putting your animals on fresh grass where they belong so that they can forage, scratch around, and do what the good Lord intended for them to do. There's just nothing like it. It just warms you down deep. So cows, fresh grass, glad to see that. All right, there they are. Getting on up in the day, so we've been out here now for a few hours. You really can't tell that they've done a lot. There's only, there's not very many cattle in there. So you really can't tell that they've done a lot, but you can see, I'm looking up the fence line here and I can see a little bit of difference in where they're at versus where they'll come tomorrow. So they were ready for some green grass. We've got some to give them. Like I say, we've got some stockpile forage up here on top of the hill. In about 1, 2, 3, 4 days, 3 days, something like that, they'll move up there and they'll have even more. So, but glad, it's kind of glad to get them moving. But now, and I'm not complaining, but it is what it is. Now we've got this daily chore ahead of us that we've not really had for a couple of months, because it was real easy to just come out here and toss a roll of hay over and just let them have the hay. But now we're into the daily moves, and we'll do that because it's the best thing for the ground. It's the best thing for the animals. Spread that manure, get that hoof pressure, keep that grass eating down so that it can rejuvenate and keep growing back, and we can grow more and more grass. So anyway, I think that's going to do it. Like we always say, please keep us in your prayers. May God bless you and your families. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks.